Welcome.
What the hex?
Welcome to What the Hex, episode number 6. Oh my God.
I'm so excited and full of energy.
We're whacking these hours week by week, whacking out these shows, man. Got Elmeyer joining us today, who most of you know from Tuesday's shows and Telegram.
Love.
Thank you for joining us. We got Papa B from Bonaland. And myself, Cryptomatic from Polygon.
Oh, all right.
How are you guys? All right. Let me say hi to the chat. This chat with a big D. Avalon is first. Look at that. Avalon. Nom Nom is slacking today.
Nom, sit down.
First position.
I think Nom Nom lost on Tuesday too. So.
Losing streak.
Wow, that's concerning. SE is in the house. Crypto Kool-Aid heading to bed, boys. What? Have a good stream and I'll catch the replay. Shout out to the replay gang.
The pre-show. That was. Did you come in just to kind of tailgate to the pre-show and have a burger or two, and then when the game started, you got sleepy? It's okay. I know the feeling. Right. I'm old too.
Appreciate the support regardless. Got Hex on air who's sending a funny meme. We're going to show this later on.
Kool-Aid, we're going to see you on the security space.
Oh, yes.
Later today, your time, in the evening time, I hope.
Kool-Aid is an intelligent person. When he goes, he just goes. So his input very much respected.
You
in the
shut
community.
up and you listen.
Yep. We got footsteps in the house. Hex and SB, Sandy Beach is here, Mrs. Avalon as well. You guys is Alan Fizame. Look at here. We've
Morgan.
Seen you. Got DG's joining us from Scotland. Melf Tony in the house with the price action. Blaine is here. Man, that's a solid chat that we have right now.
I know.
Thank you.
Everyone's here.
Joining us, and I would say let's get right into it. How about this price action? Where's my Chrome tab thing? No, that's
last week. Where were we when we had our last stream together last week?
I think probably around the same.
It's pretty much around the same, but
no, we didn't hit 5-4 last week.
Here it is. Okay, so we are. Actually, I've put out the DJ TA this morning. So we are in a bit of a wacky triangle, so to speak. And the ceiling is 5.5.
Yes.
And within that triangle, we have a little Wu-Tang formation. which is usually bullish. So when we crack through the 5.5, I think then this is a go, or we might see another bounce back and we shrivel along a little bit in this
Don't talk about shriveling to an old man. This is not fun. I don't want to. That's not a game. No, we're going to hit 5.5, low liquidity there, and we're going to go to 6 and 12 and 24 and 48 and so on and so on and so on.
Let's be bullish. Let's
taking his crystal
no
ball right now.
No financial advice.
Yeah, let's be bullish. Let's be positive. Also, just for record's sake, Bitcoin is doing this thing. You know, it pumped like mad last night up to the ceiling of 25 again.
Oh, really?
Which then again, $200 million have been liquidated in shorts because everybody thought this was going further down, but it's
That's
not.
what it does. That's what wells the best.
Yeah, and that's why you don't want to be trading, because if you're on the wrong end of that, it can catch you out, and that's why we're not pushing this thing here, but we are pushing this thing here, where you just earn more, where you're incentivized to hold and not trade, but earning more hex every single day, right?
Yes, yield derived from inflation given out to the staker class every single day.
Every single day. And then in our ongoing topic of when Pulsechain coming soon, before we address the big elephant in the room, which is
that Puma is tired of running.
It's had its run. Let's say.
It's running since 2021.
Richard put out this tweet, which is a very famous scene in the hunt for Red October. Give me a ping, Vasily. Only one ping. Could this mean that Pulsechain will launch in October?
Red October.
But why is it a red October though?
Don't say that. And you could also read into it that the late great Sean Connery is dead. So don't read too far into this. He's just saying we're pinging. So let him ping. Let him ping.
But let's read into something else. Since we have Elmire here, let me just put up one more thing, one more time. The John Wick files. Hold on. So
is it Elmire? Is it the first yawn that we're going to have today, or you handle yourself? All the excitement around.
I'm sorry. I'm trying my hardest.
I'm preparing for the security session with Papa.
When is that?
Like 2 a.m. my time.
2 a.m. your time. Very good.
I'm starting to sleep now.
Oh, that's so tonight. I'm awake. Yes.
That's right. It's tonight. Be there and be square. Security Spaces, Hex and Pulsechain's second roundtable security meeting. Look for it and be there. Damn it. I tweeted it out. Everyone should damn well come and contribute something to the best practices that were taken down.
Yes. Follow Papa B on Twitter to get the link. We went through the John Wick files last week because we had the opportunity to talk to him in private. And actually, one point I forgot to mention regarding this first instance here, big difference between OA stakes and regular user stakes. And this became a hot topic in the community again yesterday on Twitter when somebody allegedly, the Look Into Hex guys, good accounted one of the Godwell stakes who was hanging in limbo. And the difference, and now I remember this, what he was saying, the OA and people like the Godwell are known to be not sellers, like they are not notorious sellers. So with that in mind, you want them to retain and keep as much hex in their diamond hands as possible. You don't want them to lose hex, as it would be the case when the stakes are bleeding out, versus if it's just one of us or like a regular pleb stake, as we call them, who might just add to more sell pressure on the market. So those should be bled out. But the OA stakes and people like the Godwell, who are known not to be selling, and he actually had this tweet that he put out. Let me just show you this real quick before we head over to Elmire. Elmire spreadsheet. Oh, I'm fiddling here with the StreamYard. Hold on.
Go ahead. Keep fiddling. We don't have much to talk about anyway.
Hold on.
Finbear is here. Sandy Beach is here. Alan Fizame again. The body mechanic with a yo.
Why doesn't it show me the tweet that I want to share? I deleted it. Damn. Anyways, I had but maybe I can bring it back. Hold on, guys.
Where Bob's now? Not just when Bob's, but where Bob. Bob's are here. Bob's are here. Nom nom. Cool your jets.
No, I've
body
lost
mechanic may have mechanical Bobs.
I've lost it. Sorry. There was this Godwell tweet that I'm sure you guys have seen from November 2021, where he thinks that one hex, if it's being held more and more in diamond hands, can be as valuable as one Bitcoin one day, which shows his intention of also not be a crazy market dumper, but to hold on to these. So that's why when these big stakes are being accounted for, it's with the intention that these are people who are usually not selling and they should retain all that.
Can I break in with a totally tangent type of thing that happened? Totally off script, totally off subject, but you just reminded me of something. So you may recall a bit of drama that was touched off back in the chat back in the day. Elmire, you remember back in the day when the meme lord met the troll king. So basically, Abit thought it would be a great stunt to declare that Pulsechain would be live on Richard's birthday, which was like in 5 days. And he tweeted it out. Matty Allen seconded it. And then people started flooding into the Pulsechain voicemail.
Yes.
Flooding in saying, what do I do? What's all this? Mostly from Europe, because it was like the time that they were awake. So they have all these strange accents, like both of you foreign people. And they were just like, so give me the fucking deets, Papa. Give me, God, what do I do? And it was one after another, after another, after another. And there was nothing that we could do about it. They were just teaming in. We're like, where the fuck did you hear this? There's nothing from Richard at all. Well, a bit. Okay, fine. And Maddie. Oh, okay. So after like the 20th person came in, trying to settle them down, disrupting the chat like crazy, I started like going crazy myself. So I told them to go back and tweet back to Abit. Papa says hello. Where the fuck did you get this information? Right? Just to say that we here in the salt mines and you guys above ground, you're sending the plebs down here and they're going crazy and we don't know what to do with them. So could you tell us what the message is? Or fair enough, it was kind of just his feels, right? So
it was just joking.
Joking. But he pranked the fuck out of me. He came into the chat with a recorder, professional recording going on and video, and said, hey, what are you doing? I heard you want me down here. Can I help you with something? And I'm like, yo, Abit, a lot of people are confused down here. Can you please tell us what the fuck is going on? And so he's like, I honestly believe that it's going to happen in 5 days. Can you tell us why? I feel. All right, guys, you heard it, whatever. And then the rest of the chat mongrels teamed up on him and said, you can't do that to us. You have to learn how to apologize, and an apology has to have 3 distinct features to it. I'm sorry, it won't happen again, and here's why. And then other people started getting crazy. The trolls came out, teaming all over Abit, and he's like, okay, all right, it's okay. And then he's like, okay, guys, goodbye. And then Maddie came on and said, oh, I'm very sorry. I had my first of 2 in the same year auto accidents. And I got to tell you, I wasn't thinking clearly. I was retweeting. I really didn't look into it. I'm sorry. Goodbye. All right. So next thing that happens is Abit broadcasts on Twitter the heavily edited version of that conversation.
Yeah.
And everyone thought that all the 5 voices on that chat were Papa B railing against Abit, the way that he edited it, right? And there was Pepe, there was, 3 other clowns that were just like, hey, you can't do that. But they all sounded together for the untrained ear that it was all me. So Twitter fucking, yeah, exactly. 11/18, exactly. And so Twitter and everyone in the community just dogpiled on Papa saying, you can't lecture, you can't teach, how dare you? Do you know what Abit's doing out there? He's talking and onboarding 24/7 across the United States. How dare you? Oh, you're old. You are old man. You're terrible. How dare you? You remind me of my Uncle Stan, and Uncle Stan always used to lecture me, and you smell like poop. So I got that shit all over. And then it was funny because Abit and I had no beef. We were just laughing, saying, you got me good, Abit. Yeah, I got you good, Bob. And I'm like, it was fine between us. But the hate, the fucking hate, people had nothing better to do other than to team up on me. And it's okay. I understand this. It's fun. So everyone got it. But what happened was yesterday, some clown out, this is a year and a half ago, some clown out of, and by the way, I just went through this whole story again with Black Hex again on her show.
Yeah, where are you going
fun
with
to
this?
relive that moment because she was there. Hold on a second, I'll get to this in a moment. The point is that some dude, some new pleb, some pleb online, new to our community, finds this old freaking smoldering ashes and decides to like it, which sets off a firestorm. People are like liking it all over the place again, thinking that it's like happening now.
That it's recent.
November 2020. November 2020. It's a year and a half ago. The point is, and this is coming back to the God Whale.
Yes.
It broke my heart to see a God Whale quote, comment, lecturing me back because he only saw the heavily edited version as the gospel. And he too said, that sounds like I could never stand that myself. How dare that old coot lecture someone that gives so much to our community. Yes. This is the fucking real God Whale lecturing me.
So he's real.
So I can
it's not Richard.
Real. He's a real guy, and out of all the respect in the world for all these people that were just like, fuck you, Papa. You know what? That's where I was going with it. The God Whale's a real guy. He's got a real heart. He's very sensitive, and he's great for the community. And he probably still hates me from 20 November. So there you go.
No, I don't think so, because he also I think from his tweets takes the security issue very serious. So, but it's always people are saying he's part of the OA or it's Richard himself, and there are so many nuances and things and tweets and stuff that really make us.
At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
It's a completely different entity, and it's not him. Yeah. So the rumor has it that
it is definitely a different guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that Gerardo allegedly from Mintra and Look into Hex good accounted one of the OA stakes that were starting to bleed out, and then you immediately on Twitter you see these two factions of we shouldn't be doing this, and people maybe like us who have learned now more about the topic are actually in favor of doing that. But Elmire, let's get to your spreadsheet
before the spreadsheet itself. I think people need to look at it in 2 different lights. You can think about it in the way of how are you going to make the biggest gains, or how are you going to gain the most X, which is what the spreadsheet shows, or what is the more beneficial thing for the entire ecosystem as a whole, or who the participants are and who the stake is from, and analyze it in a more in-depth manner, right? And that's what the PowerPoint that DJ was sharing before meant when he was talking about the OA stakes versus other people's stakes, because most of us in the community assume that, okay, OA stake or the OA is a good benefactor or a good participant, and we want him to have the power to do, or the weight to do whatever he wants, and not really remove or run the risk of him losing that power to other people that may uh, harm the system, right?
Yes, may just
So we
dump it
can,
all. Yeah.
yeah, not only dump it all, but I don't know, a multitude of scenarios, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing we can look at is, okay, what will net you the most benefit? And that this is also this is what the spreadsheet shows. The spreadsheet shows, and but it also depends on a lot of factors, namely how long is the stakes you have, when are your stakes ended, when the good accounting is made. So it's not as simple as, okay, you should good account before always, or you should never good account, right? You have a balance between them.
Right.
So if you
And
want to,
and then you made a spreadsheet, because I know for a fact that there's nothing more that the viewing crowd on Discord Syndicate
likes
likes
more, right?
more than
In a
a
spreadsheet.
presentation of an Excel spreadsheet.
It's a very
that's like,
small one. It's a very
you
small
can
one.
see our view number now exploding in a minute. Hold on.
Spreadsheet.
Spreadsheet. Yeah. So Almayer made the calculation actually where you can play with different scenarios on what the
Nerd.
effect of a good. We're nerding out on the good accounting right here, but maybe you can run us through this, Almayer.
So basically, this is where most people want to look at, which is the total T shares and the total X the stake has. Okay,
Yeah.
this will vary a lot based on the length of the stake and the T share rate, right? I have some system state numbers here that they were taken at the day that I did my first calculations. Of course, this can be updated to the actual today's values, right? But it wasn't that long ago, so they are not too out of date, I would say. Either way, the T-share rate and it's meaningless because I'm here simulating a stake that was done on day one for 2 years with a total 1 billion X. Okay, this is what I'm simulating here. We can then put other numbers and see what changes. But basically, that's it. This is to simulate one of John Wick's one of the stakes that John Wick would have counted a year something ago. Okay. We have a few assumptions in our calculations here. The first one is we are assuming that the stake that's earning the rewards is at least 2 years or less for 2 years after the stake matures. This means that they will get the benefit from the increase on the T-share rate. Okay, and we are also disregarding the 14 days grace period between when the stake starts to being penalized. Okay, and again we are assuming a 2-year stake started on day one. So as we can see here, this is the daily payout, assuming the changing T-share rates is 0% per year. So we can assume that it's going down by 2% or up by 2%, wherever. For now, we can just leave it at 0. So the T-share in the pool, the total T-share in the pool is the same. But here we have the difference between good accounting before. So we account before it starts being penalized, and here we could account after the 2 years have passed. Okay, so this is the initial daily payout. If we could account it right away, because the number of T shares will be reduced, so we have a daily payout difference between day one. The final day final day payout is based on the increase in the total payout based on the inflation. Okay, this is the daily inflation in the system. I'm assuming all the inflation is minted. Okay, and this is will increase the daily payout even if the T shares don't change. Okay, so at the end of the 2 years, if I have one T share and my T share lasted for the entire 2 years, if I could account it on day one, I would earn 62.6 extra X per T share. If I could account it after the 2 years have passed, and I'm staked on that day, because this one you will only benefit when if you are staked on that day. So if you miss it for one day, you earn nothing. Okay, and that's very important.
Yes.
If you are staked for that day, you'll earn this amount, and you can see which one is bigger, right? So the good accounting before the penalties reduces the T-share rate, the total T-shares in the pool in a way that increases the daily payout enough to be more beneficial for the staker class than good accounting it at a later date. So this is purely on gains per T-share for someone that is staked during those periods following the stake maturing. Okay.
There's a bit of criticism from Alan Fizame. He says that you don't have enough colors on that spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Well, they told me that people don't like
We got the
spreadsheets, so I added a few sprinkles of color to be more enjoyable, let's say.
Look at
Let
this
me-
formula, though. I've never
Yeah, let
seen
me
such a
see
formula
that.
in an Excel.
N over epsilon, k equals 0, x plus
So
1 plus y to the n minus 1 plus y
Like,
over.
what the heck?
What the hex?
So this formula was basically done to try
Formula
to simulate.
flex.
How did you
So
do this?
basically, if you reduce the number of T-shares by 5% per year, okay, this would be the number that we would get on the simulation. But if we are assuming it's a linear a decrease every day by 5%, independently of the total T-shares, right? By good accounting before, we are actually reducing the initial.
I knew it. The
Where's-
chat loves
Where's the
this
audiobook?
spreadsheet.
Send link.
So just to try to simplify it, this formula was just to try to have a more exact number. If we assume that the T-share rate will always go down or up X amount of percent per year, because by good accounting it before, the number of total T-shares would be lower, and so the impact on the change would actually be different than this one that's here calculated. So the value of the reward would not be exactly this amount, but closer to this one. Okay, so
Right.
it's still higher anyway. Here it's a little bit higher than before, but it doesn't really matter. It's more for myself that I wanted to have an exact calculation, assuming that the T-share going up or down would be daily and constant based on the total T-shares, which in truth won't never happen unless someone is always staking stakes at exactly those days.
Yeah, but bring up Andrew Reynolds' comment, please. Mr. Reynolds, stand up, sir. I see you not paying attention in class. So
It's not that
too long
easy,
didn't
sir.
read. Good account, someone's account before penalties kick in. Go back to the damn beginning of the
Go
stream.
back to
and what
square
this
one.
man is. Understand what
So,
the frick he's talking about.
We can also
Not just anyone, yeah.
we can also simulate. Imagine that instead of being a 2-year stake, this was a 1-year stake. So it would only have 120,000 T-shares. And here, it's almost the same or slightly better to good accounted at the end in terms of purely gains, right? Because
Yes.
for the good accounting penalties, what matters is the total X, while for the good accounting before penalties, what matters is the total T-shares, right? So this number can change the results drastically. So if it were only a 1 year stake, for the stakers, it would be better to, or almost the same, to do it later or earlier. The problem with later is if you miss the good accounting day, you don't earn any of it, while on the good accounting before, everyone in the system after that point onwards will benefit from the decrease in total T shares. So that's why even in this scenario, I would prefer to good accounting before, because you might miss that single day and earn nothing, right?
Yes.
So it matters a lot, the stake itself, so the total amount of X and the total amount of T shares. So I can facilitate this spreadsheet if people want it to play around with it, but you can just get a stake that you want to analyze, put the total X, put the total T shares, and that's it. Do the math, basically.
I mean, there's the mathematic equation, but at the same time, there is the behavior. It's a multitude of things. It's
You also have
behavioral
the behavior of the entire
which
system,
is the game theory then, and who are these people?
Of course,
the
I'm
participants.
assuming that at this time, if I put this at 0, that the T-share rates is always the same during that period, which is very unlikely because stakes will end, stakes will start, the total T-shares in the pool tends to go down. That's why I put this parameter here for people to try and simulate that behavior. But there might be a year where actually the T-share rate will go up, right? It's not guaranteed that will always go down because the T-shares are not exactly deflationary right now. So if we did, for instance, a 3-year stake, which would have 160,000 T-shares, the benefit of good accounting before is even higher, right?
Right.
So the length of the stake and the size of the stake matter for both choices.
Size matters indeed. And a third thing that matters, which is what I asked you right before the show, because people, I read this again today by Hexalina on Twitter, is that when the good accounting function is run on a stake that has hundreds of thousands of T-shares, those T-shares go back into the pool. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, so they don't go back into the pool; they just disappear, and they
it has an
basically
effect
are not
on the daily earnings.
They are not diluting everyone else because if the total T-shares are 10,300,000, like on this example, basically you are dividing the daily inflation, the rewards, between all those T-shares. When you good account on or end a stake, you are reducing the total number of T-shares. So basically, if this stake was 160,000 T-shares, those would disappear. So the total amount would be 10,303,000 minus 160,000, and that would increase the payout for everyone else. And that's why the late penalty even exists, because you want to incentivize people to keep the system. How do you say it? The system in good shape. Okay.
Right.
You want to keep the system honest and
cleaned up.
And cleaned up. And in a way, it's a way to force people to end their stake or good account it in order for the T-shares to be the payout to be counted, the penalties to be counted, the T-shares to be destroyed, and so everyone else can now actually receive what they should have been receiving when the stake matured. Because
those T-shares, they still sit on that stake, even though that person is not earning anything, but it's still Like the payout
They-
would be higher for everybody else if those T-shirts
basically
were gone out of the system.
those T-shares are locked on that stake. They are
Yes.
diluting everyone else's payout,
But that is
but the
key.
stake itself
Yeah.
is not acquiring any more X. So
Yeah.
it's only harming the entire system and the rest of the stakers, and not actually benefiting anybody, right? And that's
Yes.
why you have the late penalty, because if you didn't have the late penalty, the system could just accrue late stakes, and everyone else's payout will get lower and lower and lower if no one would end them, right?
And we have
And that-
historical proof of that, because when John Wick, I think, did those first heavy OA stakes, we were always at like 6 daily payout, and that bumped it to 6.1, 6.2. And then maybe with yesterday's action, it's
Yeah.
probably safe to say
I-
that we are on a 6.3, 6, or even 6.4
yeah,
maybe.
the
I
change
think-
was about
going
0.1, so
Yeah.
I don't think John Wick.
1/10 of X. Yeah.
Guys, John Wick's momentous Saint John Wick action was pre 6 cents, pre 6 hex payout, I believe.
Oh, was that before already? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
I think so.
lost on the
Yeah,
timeline
but
there.
it-
But yeah,
The
but
change
it
was
proves that
basically
it's working.
0.1. Yeah, the change was at the time 1/10 of an X, which people might say not a lot, but if you have 100 T shares locked for 2 years, you multiply that 0.1 times 100 times 730 days, and that's a few nice bucks, I would say.
Awesome.
So basically, that's the math behind it. It's not very hard math, and that
I can
formula.
nerd out on that stuff all day.
Yeah, and that's why the system makes sense and why the late penalties exist. People think about the late penalties is some way to try to get more money out of people. I heard that being said before, like okay, they just have late penalties because they don't want you to win no matter what, which doesn't make any sense because you have 14 days to end it, even if your Ethereum's way is high, you can try to find a date where it's lower so it doesn't impact you as much, and you have like 2 entire years to actually end stake it and still get something out, right? So it's not very penalizing, I would say, and it's just a way to make sure that the system keeps being cleaned up and keeps working as it's intended, because otherwise everyone else would get diluted just because. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if we go on to more fun things, we received a new joke from our brother Finbear.
Oh,
Let's listen in, but
bring the
cover
kids
your-
into the chat.
cover
Bring 'em
your
in.
ears. It's always
Here
on
we
the
go,
nastier
kids.
side.
Let's enjoy.
Finbear, let's go.
These two brothers, aged 4 and 6, were upstairs, and the older brother told his younger brother that, okay, buddy, we're old enough to start swearing. And the younger brother's like, oh cool, man. Do you think mom's gonna be upset? And the guy's like, no, I figured this out. We just have to swear enough, and it's gonna be fine. That's how the grown-ups do it. So in the morning when we go downstairs, I'm gonna start swearing, and you hop on, and you start swearing as well. And the baby brother's like, okay, cool. So the morning comes, they go downstairs when mom calls them. And mom's like, all right, what are you kids, what would you like for breakfast? And the older one's like, I'll have some of that motherfucking cereal. And the mom slaps him in the fucking face and he falls off his chair. And the older brother's crying and the younger brother's still sitting at his seat really staunchly, and mom's like, what are you having? Well, I'm not having the fucking cereal.
Thank you very much.
Badoon.
Yeah, this. Yeah, we need the. We need the. Where's my?
And remember, it was a 4-year-old that said this. 4
Exactly.
years old.
Finbear always coming with the joke.
Coming with the whammy. Got the zingers. The Finnish are known for their stand-up.
For the stand-up humor, and so is the brother Hex on Air, who sent us in this very funny meme, which goes, "I can't wait to retire from Hex." He means so I can get up at 6 a.m. and go drive around really slow and make everybody late for work.
We call them the Saturday drivers.
Exactly, and that'll
call
be
them
me 10
Sunday
years from
drivers
now
in the
if
States.
if
Sunday
you
drivers.
guys keep dumping. Let's go. Let's just fucking go. We have all the tools at our disposal. We don't need another 10 years to
You know what I take from this meme?
Hmm.
That's quite a nice hunter's cap.
Let me see.
You can get behind that. Yeah.
Can we enhance that? Yeah.
All right. That guy's got some style. Nice
That's
glasses.
a nice one.
He's got the hunter's cap on.
Exactly.
Very nice.
And
Living the
I
Yeah.
took this brief moment with Finbear to and I found the God Whale tweet, but I probably need to enhance this as well. So you see here, most of the hex is in diamond hands, and the rest of it will slowly but surely be burned away through staking. In time, I truly can see hex becoming more scarce than Bitcoin itself. That's why I believe one hex can become worth more than one Bitcoin. Now, I don't know about all that, but that kind of shows the diamond-handed intention of the God Whale, and that he's just not some opportunist.
Or he can just stab
who
us
is
in the
in and
back.
out.
We don't know.
Any this is crypto. Anything can happen, but
Exactly.
we have seen this and other things, and the fact that he actually proved that his wallet is his wallet. So for now, we give the benefit of the doubt and believe that he is a beneficiary to the system, to the staker class. And
My mantra is hope for the best and prepare for the worst.
prepare for the worst. Then in terms of viewer participation, we have, because guys, the Telegram. Let me drop the Telegram link in the show. We have in the chat. We have a Telegram link to the show where you can leave us. Let me post that right now. Where you can leave us voicemail messages, suggestion, questions, topics that you want us to cover on the show, because we would like this to be as interactive as in any way possible. This is your show. If not, we just sit around here and talk shop, talk hex. Is probably what we would be doing anyway. We probably would meet up once a week.
Hold on a
some
minute.
dark tavern.
That's a good point. I got an earful from the wife today. She said, and here's a question for you chaps. She said, because I caught her on the way out the door. She's like leaving to go outside, and she's like, I'm late. And I said, but think about this, and then hex there's this and that and the T-shares, and we did this and we're gonna do that. She says, she leaves and she texts me, as she often does when she's pissed off. She's like, I really look forward to the next bull market, so you can shut the fuck up about hex every goddamn day when I'm late for fucking work. And she says, when are we going to be rich enough for you to shut the fuck up? And this is in Japanese, of course, right? And I'm like, oh, that's a good point. Never, enter, send.
Yeah.
So you guys, when do you think you're going to be rich enough, wealthy enough to not talk about hex every minute of every day?
Well, I would say that my personal dragon on your last security stream woke up as I expected him. As I expected her to do in the 3 in the morning, saying, what the fuck are you doing? Just come to bed. And I had to go away, go sleep. Tiny little dragon.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
get
so-
these comments as well. Like I'm even being set certain target numbers to hit our bank accounts or else, and soon. So yeah, I mean we're really passionate about Hex. That's why we're doing this. Again, we're not paid to talk Hex or promote it or whatever. We are like football fans. There is every soccer club in the big town has its fans and its supporters, and they're wearing the team jersey. That's how we wear the. Look at Elmire here. He wears the Hex from the
No.
because we're passionate about it. We're fans. That's it. We're not influencers.
I actually pay for it. So
Yeah, and
that's right
How
now.
much? How much is that? How much was that? Does
Get it
cost
out of
you?
custom.
Just to cross the ocean was like $100. Just
Oh
to
my
cross
goodness.
the ocean and enter into my door.
You overpaid. That's a lot of Hex you could have had, man.
So the question comes: how tall is Elmire?
He's too tall.
6'4". I'm 6'4".
He needs to be cut down to size, more like.
So we have one more topic that is directed at Papa B, but he wants to avoid it for weeks now. But I think we should hit the ball running on this one now. So our brother DJ Nom Nom, let's make this fun, okay? Let's
No
try.
fun.
Let's make this
More
fun. I'll try
math.
my best to answer it.
Yes, thank you. Go.
So to leave Papa B off the hook here, but here
Thank
goes the question. Check this out.
One more thing, the RPC settings in MetaMask, which one is actually good to use and safe to use or trusted by the Hexicans? I'm seeing different things on here on YouTube and also trying to figure it out in the other Telegram chats. No really definitive answer to that yet. What is your guys' opinion?
What is your guys' opinion? he
Your
said.
guys's.
So it's a very valid question, but before we go into dwelling this more, then this became a back and forth somehow in Telegram between Warrants, which is another one of our loyal viewers, and Nom Nom. So let's play this just
You
for
said
the
war rent?
War Ants from Holland. Yes,
War
check
Ants.
this out. War Ants.
What the heck do you mean, hey?
RPC, are you talking about the one for Pulsechain or Ethereum or
I had
what?
the same question.
I don't know. Please explain yourself, Nom Nom.
MetaMask RPC settings.
Must be me being Dutch because I don't understand what you mean. The only RPC that I know of is to add a new network or change network settings or whatever for whatever chain you're trying to use. Would that be Pulsechain V2B or I don't know, man. Please do explain.
My apologies. It's the RPC settings from the Ethereum network because of Infura IO getting the I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, man. As you can tell, I'm a very poor pleb.
Well, these are my RPC settings for Ethereum, so they've always worked for me. You should just copy these over and not do anything else with it. They're the standard MetaMask settings. Don't see anything wrong with it. Or am I missing something out here? And why the heck can't we just start a normal group voice chat in here? Why does it have to be voice messages? This is annoying.
I don't know. That's a good question.
It's not a
How
good
would you
question.
download them?
That would be
Yeah,
a
we need
good-
them
a
for
good
the show.
Question to ask
Exactly.
them. Maybe Papa B can elaborate more on my question about the RPC settings. I did ask Papa about that a little while back when people were talking about it. But if it's something that we don't necessarily need to worry about, then yeah, disregard my question. Yeah, so that's what I mean by RPC settings.
Yay!
Can I answer
So-
this? Can I answer this, please?
Go.
Just really short. Flash bots. Enjoy. We don't have anything better right now. Fleshlights. Did somebody say that one? Okay. No, look, you're worried about the hullabaloo that Eric Wall has been stirring up, and rightfully so. That because the new compliance issues on the network, the fact that most 60 something percent, maybe more by now, of the validators are on Ethereum are like, yeah, we're okay with possible government overreach to, drop transactions from certain wallets that are sanctioned by certain governments. Yeah, sure, no problem. You could be prevented from moving your wonderful monies someday, but are you a person of interest? Maybe that doesn't matter, because you can be connected up with a person of interest if they want to make a case or make life difficult for you, or if you bought a Canadian truck driver a sandwich. Yes. So I think Flashbots is probably the best one for the network right now, but there could also be issues with that down the road too. So you're not going to really win this fight until we get Pulsechain. We're hoping that Richard's going to solve all this with Pulsechain, and because it's totally decentralized and it's not, within any jurisdictional borders of any, city states that are going to start saying no to you or others on the network, maybe it'll be a great success. Maybe the time is right for Richard to come out with Pulsechain and the freedom of speech that it allows everyone. Thank you.
Now that you mentioned the truck drivers, it's like when I tell people about it that are talking poorly about crypto or don't understand crypto or the usefulness of crypto in general. Of course, there's a lot of speculation and etc. We all know about that. But when I give them that example, that people that bought sandwiches for people were prohibited from using their own money for buying sandwiches, it's like, when will you understand that we need an alternative? And that's why I believe that we should separate money from the state like we did with religion. I believe that's the future.
And from politics.
And separating money from state is not saying that, okay, I'll never pay taxes. You won't have a state that helps you out with the care system or whatever. Just means that they don't control it 100% and you depend on them 100% for everything. That's what it means.
Yeah. I meant government state, by the way. Continue, please.
I mean, my 2 cents or my 2 hacks on the matter is that, yes, in Führer.io there has been this news that they are tracking your actual location IP, and that's what NomNom is referring to here with the RPC settings. If you use the standard MetaMask setting, which are set by default, if you install a new MetaMask wallet on your machine, and they track with every transaction, allegedly, in a big database, your current IP address, right? And then when we listen to people like, Wales Only, for example, or who else? I've gone blank. Like, who are all on about the CBDCs that are coming up and how they are maybe not a good thing. So a imaginary horrible in future could be that CBDCs are now in place and everything moved to a digital kind of a US dollar, and then you can, like, basically someone could say, oh, you are now allowed to shop at the supermarket because we caught you mingling with this hex thing 4 years ago, and the proof is then your IP address. Now, I don't know if that's actually a possibility, but that's like an imaginary horrible that could be possible. And to avoid that from happening, there are 2 ideas, but they are risky. One is, as Warrants mentioned in this back and forth with NomNom, to use a VPN each time you use the MetaMask, and that obfuscates your actual IP address. Or hold on, let me just finish that thought. Or you use different settings, and there is this website called, but there's a risk with that, but just for inclusion, let me show you this. So there is this website called chainlist.org, and you can click here on Ethereum, and then down below it gives you alternative services to also transact on the main Ethereum network. But the danger with this is that there could be viruses with this. There could be malware coming onto your computers if you are using anything else but the standard Ethereum one. So that's really not something we can. It works, but it's dangerous. So that's maybe
Basically,
not what you would be doing. Elmar.
you need to know what you're doing if you are
Yeah.
going that route, and especially because okay, you won't be doxing your crypto wallet through MetaMask, but you will dox it through the thousands of websites that you browse every day. So it doesn't really matter if you cover your hole if you have the entire door open, right? So if you want to talk security and do security, you have to build it from the ground up.
Did you say cover your hole? Can you please explain what you meant by that?
A hole in the door or in the wall or in the window, but you
A
leave the door open.
hole in the door in the window. Okay. And with that, have we not provided 1 hour's worth of insanity for a sane world?
Insane hex content. I just want to say, everybody, this is, where I think we're on the cusp of, breaking out to new and higher highs. So don't get fudded out of your position. I've seen a lot of, you have to, it's these market cycles in crypto that you just have to live through. And I just seen an article yesterday in the mainstream media that says, oh, crypto is over, Bitcoin is done, and the crypto bubble has popped. And then if you read the article, their reasoning for this was that last year's Super Bowl had 4 cryptocurrency advertisement, and this year had none. So
because
surely
of Sam
it must be
Bankman fraud.
So even if FTX and all this stuff has blown to bits and pieces, that doesn't mean that Bitcoin is no longer working or something, or that it doesn't have value. It doesn't actually not. It does affect the image of crypto in a negative way, which is really not what we need, because we're already a bit an obscure thing, but it doesn't affect the functionality. So there is really no need to be worried. I'm really very certain that this will bounce back. Crypto has always bounced back, and it's on the way back up already.
Let me just
bring up while Elmire's talking. Can you bring up the chart, because we may hit 5.555 cents right now?
Oh yes, you see, it's the what the hex pump.
It's this shirt. The shirt is useful.
Oh my goodness! And on that note,
actually,
Emma, do you have any final?
Let me just give a final shout out, and then
show you
one thing, and we can end. But basically, I always hear Connectics talking very well about the shirts, and I try them, and they are actually very good. So they feel very good. So I just want to say that is actually correct in this matter.
He didn't overpromise on the.
Hey, fuck your shit, bro.
Yeah.
Great. 555, everyone. Can we get Mel Tony to agree that this is 5555 so we can all go?
Yeah,
come on.
1 second. Let me just show something else.
You want to show?
So I'm going to show the window again.
And I want to give a quick get well soon shout out to the hodl dog, who is
why is he a sick puppy? What's going on?
Head damaged apparently in hospital, and it sounds to me like he just fell down and fell very bad on his head or something.
What
so
the
he has like head injuries from, I believe, just falling down or something, or hitting his head against the wall or something he was doing. So really bad, and I hope he is in good hands there and has good doctors that take care of him. So we really wish him all the best.
Please get better.
Get well soon.
You dog, you. Please.
We need you back. with your brains.
I can't have
Empire.
any raclette or Ricola.
Can you
It's
just
in protest.
show what I'm sharing very quickly?
Your spreadsheet again? Oh, that should
Yeah.
be fun.
So this is for quick math.
Oh my
People
goodness.
talk about
Oh,
people
true.
talk about how this UA is good and etc. But nobody actually does the math. So I showed this yesterday to a colleague of mine that was very sad because his crypto portfolio went down because he bought at the top, etc. And so imagine this: you put 100 euros at 50 cents, and then you put the same 100 euros at 5 cents, right? So your total investment is this plus this, right? And the total amount of coins that you have are this plus this. Okay. So what is your actual price? So if you do the math, okay, and you divide $200 by the amount of coins that you got, you bought them at an average of 9 cents. So if you only do a less than a 2x from the bottom, you are already in profit. Even if you did only $50,
It's 500.
sorry, $50, you still be a lot lower than the actual 50 cents at the top. If you just increase it to 200, it drops down even more. And if you bought at 2 cents, like some people were able to, and you put 100 in, you are already with almost more than 50% of profit. And that's what I wanted to show.
Oh, Danny boy, I'm not just looking sleepy. I'm a sleepy mamma jamma. Let's outro this bitch.
Hex, guys. Hex is not a scam. Hex is, you can think of it as like a certificate of deposit with amazing interest. Amazing, amazing.
Amazing.
Outro.